welcome to SportsZone. I'm your host, John Phillips, joined by Oscar Chavez and Bowie Devlin. It is a big one today. We are talking about the first ever sellout in UNT history. What could be the biggest game in UNT history? UNT versus USF. Guys, how are you feeling going in this game?
Oh man, John, I'm hyped. I'm so hyped. This is gonna be my first game ever going to Mean Green game, and man, I am electric. I just can't wait to get there.
Bowie, how are you feeling?
This is also my first UNT football game, so I think it's going to be very unique. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be hype.
It's going to be very crazy, and I think we have to ask, is this the biggest game in our school's history?
I mean, the way everything is shaping out, yes. First sold-out crowd since since the stadium was built. And I mean, the team is rolling, 5-0, first since 1959. I mean, we haven't gone 6-0 since that year, and this team just looks different. It's the first time we have a 20 points per game defense, and I just think we can actually put on a show this time.
Bowie?
I think it's one of the biggest moments in the school's history. It's definitely leading up to it. The other time was when we were ranked 16 in the poll back in 1977, and our only loss that season was against Florida State, who was 20th.
I could only bring up the 2001 New Orleans Bowl when we were first reestablished back in the FBS. We got our bowl game. Everybody on Fry Street was absolutely crunk. You could not tell anyone that we were going to lose that game. We did lose that game, but that doesn't matter because this year we're going against USF. Everybody is going to be hyped, but this time we're coming away with a victory.
There'll be a lot more crunk students after this.
Oh, absolutely. Catch me on Fry.
So, with how big this game is, do you think that if we win this game, we finally get ranked in that top 25?
Oh, I think they better put some respect on our name. I mean, we beat a team like USF that has beaten Boise State, that has beaten Florida. I mean, put some respect on our name. Finally, I mean, at least 25. This is a ranked team that's coming into the Denton Desert and going to get a lollipop of a whooping. I mean, come on.
They cannot handle the Denton Desert. Do you think we should be ranked after this?
I believe so. I mean, as he said, with them beating Florida State, and then you got they beat Florida also. It's like, and Boise. It's just gonna be crazy. It's gonna be definitely crazy. We should be 25 or 24.
Yeah, I mean, if you beat a team if you beat Florida, that beat a team that was #1 in Texas, you might as well put us at top 25.
Yeah, this will be a very big win. And we got to talk about USF. They have had that tougher schedule. You know, they have wins over Florida with DJ Lagway in the swamp. They have a win over Boise State. This is a team that is battle-tested. Do you think that's going to help them coming into this game against UNT?
I think the schedule that they have faced so far is definitely going to prepare them. I mean, we look at the Mean Green, we've gone against Washington State, at best, maybe Birmingham. We haven't gone against any quality opponents so far, and we look at the other side with USF, Boise State. They're coming off a playoff appearance. Yes, they lost Ashton Genty, which was the workhorse on that team, but either way, that was still a really good roster. You look at Florida, that team just beat Texas. Yes, they're not doing as good as everybody predicted, but that's still a ranked team that they beat. It's some respect that we have to put on USF, especially their quarterback, Byron Brown.
Byron Brown, he's scary. I mean, our defense is going to have to be really locked in, and I think the most important piece of that is Shane Witter, our linebacker. He came from Oklahoma, and he has been really, really good this year. He leads the team in tackles, has a lot of quarterback hurries, he has a pick, and I think he's going to need to step up against USF because Byron Brown, like you said, a dual-threat quarterback. Yeah. He kills you with his legs, he kills you in the air, and a linebacker is the one who is patrolling both those. He has to come up and stop the run and stop the pass, and I think Shane Witter needs to step up.
I mean, you see Shane Witter's stats right there. Solo tackles 23, 48 combined, but his tackles for loss and the interception, I mean, he's going to make a turnover. He's going to get a big play at the right time. My X factor is going to be the whole defense as a whole. I mean, we all saw on SportsCenter Byron Brown drag the entire Florida defense to the end zone. I mean, I am scared as a Mean Green fan, but at the same time, it's going to be our safeties. It's going to be our linebackers. It's going to be our edges. If they could provide edge support, and if our linebackers could wrap up, our safeties play that deep coverage. I mean, you look at it right there. The defense has been playing out of their minds and the athletic. I mean, this defense hasn't been 20 points per game in forever. And right now, 135 passing yards per game. First in the American Athletics, 6 interceptions. I mean, we're a turnover machine. We're +8 in the margin of turnovers. That's 4 more than USF. I think we're just going to walk away with this with a crucial turnover at the end of the game.
And Byron Brown is someone who can have those turnover issues. You know, he threw those 2 picks against Charlotte, who are a lot worse of a defense than us. But I think the most important part about this UNT team as a whole might be the offense. Who do you think is the X factor for this game?
It has to be Mestemaker. I mean, everything he's done this season, throwing 11 touchdowns, having a passer rating of essentially 72, and 0 interceptions, 0, zilch. I think it's going to be the biggest factor. UNT is going to walk away with it.
And you didn't even mention the most important thing, 5-0. Mestemaker has been playing like this and getting out the wins in the tight games. Because against Army, against Western Michigan, we struggled a little bit, and Mestemaker showed that he has that dog in him. He's a clutch player, you know?
And we have to talk about Mestemaker just about a little bit more. I mean, they bring in the transfer from Miami for the quarterback battle. Mestemaker in that quarterback competition was not fully confident that he had won that game, that won that competition. Well, a kid that did not even start his whole senior year managed to stick around on that team just because he wanted to finish off his senior year with his buddies. That talks about how he's so committed to the program, and we should just cherish him as long as we have him.
Absolutely.
Because Power 5 schools are calling.
I don't want to even think about that. Let's talk about how he was a punter in high school and that's how committed he is. We don't need to talk about Power 5 schools yet. That's too much, you know. Right. But, you know, we have an elite quarterback in Drew Mestemaker. We mentioned theirs a little bit earlier, Byron Brown. Do you think that our defense is going to be able to stop his legs, Bowie?
I think so. I really do. I think that just everything that we've done, especially against teams like Washington State, and then we had that beat down against Lamar, I just think that it's just going to be one of the biggest contributors to it. And the way that we play at home, I see us walking away.
We have been really great at home, and part of that is Caleb Hawkins. One of the best true freshmen in America. I mean, he has been one of the best running backs in the country, not even just freshman, one of the best running backs. Oh, yeah. What do you think about Caleb Hawkins this season, his breakout?
As a true freshman, you could not ask for a better back in Caleb Hawkins. He's a guy that can break a big one or run in between the tackles. A lot of the times in the NFL, you get these two-back sets that here's a power back and here's a speed guy. Caleb Hawkins is both of them in one. And honestly, as a true freshman, he's only going to get better. The really critique I can only have on is the pass blocking. If we get that down, it's going to be an all-round 3-down, all the down back.
And the blocking is something you get with that experience,
exactly.
You know. But yeah, they have Thunder and Lightning. We have our whole storm to ourselves, you know. Yes. It is elite.
Depth. And we have depth with
Mackenzie McGill. I mean, the running back depth is insane. The offense in general has a lot of depth. Our receiving core, 7 receivers with over 100 receiving yards. I mean, what do you guys think about that depth?
It's the biggest factor. I mean, it's why Mestemaker is what he is. The yards after catch are just great. I just think that it's just going to keep rolling and building up. So, I mean, the offense has been electric for UNT this year. And Mestemaker, he can't be stopped. No. But this USF defense is the toughest we faced this year. They've been performing this year. Do you think that they are going to be able to neuter Mestemaker?
I think they're going to get to Mestemaker pretty early. What USF has done recently is generate a good amount of interior pressure, and against a young quarterback like Mestemaker, that's going to become a big factor, especially when those defensive tackles are driving in your centers and guards. As a young guy, Mestemaker hasn't seen what Byron Brown has seen. He hasn't seen the defenses that USF has seen. So he's going to take a little bit longer to process everything. I do believe the first turnover from Mestemaker comes in the first quarter of the game, but it's going to take the crowd, it's going to take the team as a whole to completely flip the switch, because we said it's the first sold-out crowd in DATCU history. Well, it's going to be a lot of guys' first game. Be loud the whole game. Mestemaker's going to need it. This offense is going to need it. Mean Green need you.
Yes, you have to be loud at the game, and it's going to be one of the most important factors. Do you think that is going to help UNT propel themselves past this defense?
I believe it will. I think that just first sellout, you know, like he said, brand new people coming into the stadium. It's going to take everything for us to pull through this, and I believe we do with all that.
So let's get final score predictions. How do you guys see this game going? Oscar?
It's going to be a high-scoring one. I don't see it being low-scoring. I see it being a completely bloodbath in the fourth quarter. It's going to take one more drive. 38-31. Give me the Mean Green.
Bowie?
I believe it's going to be Mean Green 28-20. AP poll, you need to rank us. We are legit. We are coming. We are coming.
Yeah, after this game, you are going to need to rank UNT no matter what. We are winning this 45-20. It's going to be a blowout. We are the best team in the American.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
We'll have to see, though. We better see you at the game. That's all we have. We'll talk about WNBA after these messages.
Are you looking for a fun club with travel opportunities? Dive into the UNT Swim Club. practicing Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays from 7 to 9 p.m. at the Pole Recreation Center. We accept members at any skill level. For more information, reach out to us at unt.swimclub on Instagram.
Haunted in the depths of NTTV studios. Something special is brewing just for you.
Hey ghouls and goblins, NTTV News is having a special Halloween segment this October 31st. We're also covering 31 days of Halloween in Denton. You don't want to miss it. It's going to be spooktacular.
I use Flex to buy my favorite snacks.
I use Flex to get me through my mornings.
I use Flex at my favorite campus restaurants. I love how Flex is a cashless payment method.
And it can be used at all campus dining venues.
So, how do you use Flex?
Looking to open a free checking or savings account but don't know where to start? Check out DATCU Credit Union right here on campus. Get your Mean Green debit card instantly or apply for a DATCU Visa credit card today. Your school, your card. Plus, make deposits at their 24/7 ATM, checks or cash whenever you need it. Make sure to sign up for DATCU's online banking platform and mobile app for easy access anytime, anywhere. Visit them at www.datcu.org to learn more. DATCU, the official financial institution of UNT Athletics.
Welcome back to SportsZone. We are talking WNBA Finals. Joining me, Tina Orozco and CJ Vasquez. It's been a little bit of a blowout of a series, 3-0. How are you guys feeling about it so far?
I think that the Aces they're 3-0 right now, but it has been a battle. They haven't had easy games against Phoenix. It's been close games. Last night, Game 3 came down to a buzzer beater. It was close the whole time.
Yeah, I mean, Game 1 and Game 2, they had those crazy comebacks that they had to beat Phoenix, and then Game 3, the buzzer beater from Asia Wilson to secure that. I mean, that was crazy. What a shock.
I mean, it shocked me, watching last night. Asia just putting up crazy numbers with, the buzzer happening and really just solidifying that 3-0 for the Aces to win. And really, it's coming down to the wire now, that last push where if they win one more, they win it all.
Yeah, every single game is a winner go home for Phoenix at this point. It's very important. And with all these games being so tight, I mean, do you think that they're going to sneak a little game in there? Do you think they're going to win a game?
I think the Mercury will win at least one game. Since this coming up game is going to be in Phoenix, they are going to win one more game, but it's just going to be one, unfortunately.
Yeah, they've been really good at home, especially against Minnesota. But, I mean, do you think they're going to get anything more than that one game at home?
I think they're going to win tomorrow. I think potentially they'll run to a Game 6, maybe. But honestly, I agree with CJ. It might just be a one-off in Phoenix, and then Game 5, the Aces will take it.
I think even hoping for a one-off might be a little hopeful at this point. I mean, Vegas has the duo of Asia Wilson and Jackie Young. We have to talk about them. They have been insane. In Game 2, we saw Jackie Young, franchise record for the finals, 32 points. Asia, last night, game winner. I mean, how does Phoenix stop these two?
I think it's impossible to stop their power because they're so aggressive. I think it's key for Phoenix to throw off their rhythm because they're so time-oriented. They're really quick. They like making their plays quick. Everything is quick. They need the Mercury needs to adjust their timing, force the Aces to adjust to their timing, slow it down through slow possessions and stopping runs.
Those slow possessions are going to be a little bit tougher now that they're without star Satu Sabali. I mean, CJ, do you think they're going to be able to overcome her missing Game 4 with a concussion?
I mean, with that being said, I think really what Phoenix needs to do with adjustments is get more defensive pressure. Not only just that, but having more physicality out there on the court. And then just having better zone looks will be the three main key factors of winning, Game 4 for the Mercury.
Yeah, I mean, they do need to be really physical, but that's a little bit tough. I mean, we talked about this last week. This is a team that didn't play together before this year. This is a team that only returned 2 players this offseason and got a brand new head coach. I mean, do you think that they will be able to gel in time and get that physicality going for Game 4?
I believe so. I mean, just for Game 4, it's in Phoenix, and with that home crowd that's going to be going on this week, coming up, I think that we'll do it. But again, it's just going to be one game, unfortunately.
Yeah. Vegas has so many weapons. You take away one, another steps up, whether it's injury or people just being out. They've utilized their bench way better than the Mercury has, so I think it's key for them to get some girls stepping up.
Absolutely. Vegas's bench has really impressed me. I mean, Jewel Lloyd, we all know her name. I mean, she has the ring. She swept Vegas back when she got her ring, but she has really stepped up. Has anyone stepped up this series for you guys and impressed you?
I think for me, Dana Evans had a remarkable Game 1. She provided the Aces with 21 points, a good chunk of that. And then defensively, she's gotten some steals. She's the first player in the WNBA Finals history to record 5 made three-pointers and 4 steals in a single game. Especially with being a bench player, she's made a really big impact for them.
Yeah, she has been incredible. CJ, anyone stood out for you so far this series?
I think so far who stepped up the most this series is really Jackie Young. She's pretty much the breakout star this year. We know Asia is going to dominate, her team with her team, but Young's Game 2 and how she's pretty much a main consistent remaining in this series, I think really she's the one that's really braked out this year.
That's fair. I mean, she's been so good this series that after Game 2, I thought she might win Finals MVP. I thought she had a chance, but I mean, let's talk about the Finals MVP. I think we might all have the same name.
Yeah.
Who do you guys have winning Finals MVP?
Asia Wilson.
I also have Asia Wilson.
clear.
I mean, when you can do what she does on the court, both offensively and defensively, one of the best scorers of all time, one of the best defenders of our generation. I mean, how can she not win Finals MVP? She's been so incredible.
I mean, with that being said, her winning, she's going to solidify, and I know most Gen Z say this, but GOAT status.
Yeah.
But with her potential case winning, she's going to be a 3-time WNBA champion, a 4-time MVP for WNBA, and then a 2-time Finals MVP. With that, and then not only that, defensive player, caliber defender.
Yeah.
That's just solidifying her GOAT status for the Aces.
That's fair. Definitely the go for the Aces, but let's talk league-wide. I mean, is Asia getting GOAT status with a win here? Is she your guys' GOAT after this?
I think so. I think she's redefining what greatness is in our modern game. She's not just a one-sided player. She's not just a scorer. She really takes hold of dominance on the court and has such a leading presence, not only on the court, but off the court too. She's a role model for many young women. And then also playoffs. She kills in playoffs. She holds the postseason record for points scored with 291 and counting with tomorrow.
I want to talk about another GOAT who has those leadership off the court qualities that you said, and also the winning quality, Maya Moore. She retired early at 29, but I think she might be the GOAT over Asia. She had that same level of peak, that same dominance, and she retired at 29, which is the age that Asia's currently at. I mean, if she continued on, I think we would probably see 5 rings, 6 rings with Minnesota. I mean, it's tough. And there's also some other names. I mean, Tamika Catchings back in the day, 5 Defensive Player of the Years. I mean, there are so many names throughout the history of this league that could be the GOAT, but Asia, I mean, let's just talk more about Asia. This series has been incredible. Game 3, buzzer beater. Game 2, she went off. Game 1, she went off. I mean, this whole playoff she's went off. Talk more about Asia.
I mean, just with her getting the GOAT title herself, I think it's just because of longevity. I think it's also because of team leadership.
Yep.
And I think it's also because of impact on this league in general for the WNBA. Like Tina said, she's a role model for young women. And just the way that she plays, like out of her mind in this league, it's just outstanding for her.
Absolutely, and you mentioned the rings. I mean, a big part of her GOAT case is that she's leading maybe the best modern dynasty in WNBA history. I mean, do you think this is the best dynasty in WNBA history?
I mean, probably. I think it's hard to argue that. I mean, there's obviously other considerations, but
Yeah, you have the Houston Comets at the beginning of the league where they won 4 straight, but the quality of the league was down at this point, and we are at the peak of talent for women's basketball right now, I would say. And I mean, Asia has shown that she is still that dominant type of GOAT. I mean, so Phoenix, they struggled this season. They struggled this season a lot.
Yeah.
And with all these new pieces, Nate Tibbetts, coach, they got from the NBA. Do you think that they are going to have success in the future? Do you think this is just a sign of things to come?
I think for them getting into the finals is a really big step for them to take. I think with their team getting as far as they have, it has potential to maybe carry on into next year. And if they take a loss, which they probably will, gets them going for next year, pushes them to win again.
Absolutely. And I really like how the organization is run. You know, their GM is a former assistant to Steve Kerr and to the Warriors, so they really know what it takes to win. And with the coach, Nate Tibbetts, and with their GM, they really have that philosophy of run and gun while also still being that tough team. I mean, CJ, how do you think this is going to play out for them in the coming years?
I think for the Mercury, they'll be all right. I mean, a team takes bumps, especially, you know, being in the finals. And it's going to be a tough road to come back from like a loss or a potential sweep. But in the end, with the talent they'll keep next year, if they can keep them, they're going to be just fine.
Yeah, like you said, this probably will be a sweep, but we'll have to see. You never know. Phoenix could make some magic happen. Yeah. You don't know. But that's all the time we have for this. Next block, we'll be talking about the Dallas Stars season. Join me after these commercials.
Hey Alex, this guy on the internet says he wants to give me money.
That sounds suspicious.
What do you mean?
Typically, strangers who promise you money on the internet have their own best interest in mind. They often use bounce checks, which will disappear shortly after depositing, but not before they've asked for some money in return.
So he doesn't really want to spoil me?
No.
Well, then what should I do?
The best way to handle it is to block and report the suspicious message, or even consult local law enforcement if you've already fallen victim.
So I guess we aren't going to Key West for spring break.
No.
Are you tired of seeing the same old city? You want to learn something and go overseas? Then study abroad with one of many UNT Study Abroad programs. You can find a Study Abroad office right here at Markey Hall, room 145.
My study abroad program left on me a great impression. We have a lot of different programs and it varies. We have faculty-led, affiliate, and exchange programs. When you're ready to leave for your study abroad program from UNT, you're going to go through pre-departure orientation and modules so that you are prepared.
The power to turn the world into your classroom is right here at UNT with our study abroad programs. Take flight and take in charge of your education.
I wonder what's on the radio today. I don't know about this. This is not it.
Everything alternative, commercial free. 88.1 Indie.
Here at KNTU, we have two traditional stations, 88.1 Indie and KNTU Jazz. We've also recently launched an internet radio station called Mean Green Hits. If you want to hear more, you can check us out at MediaNorthTexas.com.
That was pretty good.
Welcome back to SportsZone. I am your host, John Phillips, and to talk Dallas Stars, I am joined by Ian Cropper and Haley Stum. The season is starting tonight against Winnipeg. Are you guys ready?
Absolutely.
How do you guys see tonight's game going?
Well, honestly, I think it's going to be really interesting because both teams have lost players in the offseason, but I do think Winnipeg has lost more. They're still a good team, but keep in mind they fell to us in that last playoff series, and I think it really comes down to Connor Hellebuyck because he was electric throughout the regular season, but against St. Louis and us in the playoffs, it was like he was a completely different person. And the question is, which version of Hellebuyck do we get tonight? Ultimately, I think that makes enough of a difference where we win in an offensive shootout. I have us 4-2.
That's definitely fair. I mean, we did play them in the playoffs and get the better of them. Both of our goalies had those playoff issues. How do you see this game going?
I'm really glad you brought up Hellebuyck because it was a tale of two halves of the season. But he's one of the best goalies in the NHL, and he's going to look to right this ship and start off strong. Winnipeg brings back a really good core of their team. They're going to be a very good team, but they also lost Nikola Ehlers, so that hurts a lot in terms of scoring. And Dallas is very similar in terms of they got a lot of newness with their new head coach, and the core of the Stars roster remains the same, which we'll talk about a lot of these players later. And with these two goalies, with Jake Ottinger and then Hellebuyck on both sides, I think we're going to go a little bit under the score that you brought up. I think it's going to be 3-2. The line is 5.5 right now, and with how competitive that drama is in terms of tending to the net, and they want to be the best USA goalie, I think that's going to make for maybe a more defensive game on the ice.
That's fair. They both definitely want to bounce back with this game. And you talked about that core. Let's talk about Kyle Connor. He got paid this offseason, receiving an 8-year, $12 million per year deal. And there's been a lot of big contracts. We saw Jack Eichel, Connor McDavid, Kaprizov got 17.5 per year. I mean, it's been a crazy offseason. And we have someone coming up on a contract year, Jason Robertson. Do you guys think he should be getting these types of deals that we've been seeing?
Well, I think it depends, because first off, I should stress, I don't think Dallas is in any rush to extend him, because we still have him for at least 2 more years. He's only a restricted free agent after this season, and I think the type of season he has will determine that contract, because he has been a little inconsistent. If he has a season like 22-23 where he had over 100 points, and I could see easily like maybe 13, 14, 15 million, one of those big contracts. But if it's more like 80 mil, if it's more like 80 points, I think he could be more like 10 or 12 mil. But in any case, I don't think we're in any rush to like get rid of him, because we still do have the cap space for whatever that deal may be.
Yeah, I think this year is really a prove-a year for him, because like you said, in 22-23 we saw those 109 points, and that is top-level production, but 2 back-to-back years of 80 points. What Jason Robertson do you think we're going to see this year?
Well, I think Robertson has been consistent, but maybe not in a 109
Yeah.
points way since entering the season in the 2020-2021 season. He can solidify his elite status and command a larger payday if he repeats that performance this year. However, the question is, can you sustain that kind of output long term for a deal like this? Because you're not going to receive a big time payout if you can't be a big time player over an extended period of time. I don't think it's worth it when you could possibly use the money to build a more well-rounded roster, and that's something I think Dallas could benefit from.
That's definitely fair, and Dallas really could benefit from any type of switch-up, I'd say, because we have had years of playoff disappointment at this point. Last year, another one. I mean, will it ever end? Do you guys see us getting over the hump this year?
I like how you pointed out, will it ever end? Because that was my exact thought in terms of the Dallas Stars have missed 3 straight Western Conference Finals, and I don't think it's going to end this year. I think, and it's not necessarily from a Stars capability standpoint, but I think it's just kind of the situation that they're in. They're in the Central Division, and so is the Colorado Avalanche, which I think makes a great case for the Stanley Cup. They have the essential building blocks for a championship team. Nathan McKinnon and Cale Maker, they're top 5 NHL players overall. They also now have a goalie who isn't really going to win you games, but he's not going to lose them for you, and I guess that's all you need. You got to score more goals than the opponent, right? So I think Colorado makes a great case, and that's just unfortunate for Dallas, right? You can't really make it out of that division. If there is a change, which would need to be big, I think it would be spearheaded by right wing Mikko Rantanen, who they added last season, and anyone who watched the playoffs understands his postseason impact, right? He's got 43 goals, 80 assists, and a plus-minus of +17 in his 99 games in playoffs. And 99 games in the playoffs is a really, really big advantage, not just from a statistical standpoint, but from understanding the situation. In last year's postseason stint alone, he recorded 9 goals, 13 assists, and he averaged over 21 minutes of time on ice per game. So he's a big addition for a possible change. But again, Colorado Avalanche poses a huge challenge.
That's definitely fair. I mean, he was a killer last postseason, but he struggled when he first got to Dallas. Do you think in this first full season we're going to see that unleash Rantanen for the entire season?
I do, yes, because I do agree. Rantanen, I think, was a great addition. We saw flashes of that greatness in the last playoffs, and I think we're going to get more of that. Also, I think I am a bit higher on the Stars overall than my co-analysts. Like, we did lose pieces, but so did everyone else in the West, and we kept most of our core intact. Rantanen, Heiskanen, Robertson, Gonger, Hines, Johnston, Sagan, and Duchesne. And I want to highlight Duchesne in particular. He is still hitting his stride in his mid-30s. Maybe he lacks like immense game-shaking upside of Mikko or Robertson, but he's a dependable lineman, especially on the power play, and he brings out the best in every lineman he plays with, especially Sagan, who, it's worth noting, was out for 4 months last year. So getting Sagan and Duchesne back together is going to be huge. There is a bit of a concern about how he'll play in the playoffs, but I still do really like him. But with that said, I think more than any one player, the person who's really going to affect this team is the new head coach, Glenn Glutzen. Now, I commend this team for letting go of Peter DeBoer. It was a hard choice, but it needed to be done, and it was the right choice. I'm not sure hiring Galutsin was the right one.
I mean, say why? Why don't
Of
you
course.
think that?
So, to use an NFL comparison, as I often do, he strikes me as kind of the Raheem Morris of the NHL. He has previous experience with the team. He's being brought back after a successful assistant coaching tenure with another team in the conference, this time being the Edmonton Oilers. And he seems to have full buy-in from both players and leadership, which is a good sign. But at the same time, he was not necessarily the best head coach. Like, if you talk to Calgary Flames fans, they do not have many nice things to say about him. And he does have a losing overall record as a head coach and has never won a playoff series. I think ultimately both the pro and the con that strikes out the most, he isn't Peter DeBoer. He might have a higher ceiling, but he won't have that consistently high floor.
That's fair. It's definitely kind of a risk to get someone who hasn't been a head coach, like you said, in 10 years. He was an assistant for all that time with Edmonton. Earlier, you also mentioned Tyler Seguin, back from injury. I mean, it's going to be big to have him back, but we have another injury. Jamie Benn is going to miss the start of the season. It's going to be tough. Who do you guys think is going to step up and replace his production?
I've got Justin, let me make sure I pronounce his name right, Ritzkovian. I love all these international fantastic names. He's a projected starter for tonight's game according to NHL. I made sure I checked before I went on here and started blowing him up, right? He's a top prospect and a former AHL Rookie of the Year. He's known for his energy and ability to create plays, and he's everything that Glenn Galutsin wants in a player in his lineup. And I know you were kind of just dogging on Glenn, but it comes down to coaching. It's the X's and the O's are in the Jimmy and the Joes. And if Glenn Galutsin can be one of those Jimmys and the Joes, I don't think it necessarily matters about your track record, right? It's the culture that you're able to start in Dallas. And if you've got a key player that's important to the culture like Justin, I think he might be the right piece in order to get the Stars out of their postseason funk.
Yeah, and we have plenty of pieces that can make up for Jamie Benn's offense. I will say, it is a shame to lose the captain, especially one with such a history with this team, but our offense is still loaded with Mikko, Robertson, Johnson, all those other pieces I just mentioned. And while his loss will sting, it won't sink us. It's like Mike Evans being injured on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Is that offense worse without him? Yes. But are they dead? Absolutely not.
Jason Robinson, Chris Godwin in this?
I guess so.
But yeah, Ritzkovian, I really like him. He was at a point per game in college, a point per game in the AHL. This is a guy who has that energy and has also scored at every level he's been at. I mean, I really think he could have a great season. But I also want to mention Adam Earn. He's a little bit of a grinder, a veteran that we got for the fourth line. He's not going to get many headlines, but he's actually the guy who's going to fill that spot in the lineup, I think. And I think that he gets what Galutsin wants. You know, Galutsin wants that tougher team, and I think that he is a culture setter, you know. But talking about Galutsin, you know, you didn't seem that confident. You seemed confident in him. What about his Edmonton era didn't give you that much confidence in him?
Well, it's not the Edmonton era that gives me some pause. It's what came before, because there's a difference between being an assistant coach and being a head coach. And I won't say I'm completely out on him. Like I said, it's too hard to tell at this point. I am nervous, though, and that's not something I particularly like, but I am rooting for him. I don't want him to fail, especially because, well, I am a Stars fan. But I do want to see, if he can take us higher than DeBoer did.
That's fair. Lots of Stars fans are probably in that same boat, nervous, but wanting him to win. We'll have to see with the game tonight. You know, season starts. I'm excited, but that's all the time we have. We will be talking UFC 320 after the break. Have a good one.
Craving something fresh, flavorful, and made just for you? Look no further than Avesta, your go-to destination for a delicious, full-service dining experience. Dive into our customizable omelets, expertly crafted by our talented cook Jonathan, who guarantees every bite is perfection. All our dishes are handmade, prepared with only the freshest ingredients. Explore our assembly line where you can choose from any of our globally inspired dishes, or customize your plate. It's that easy. And let's not forget dessert. Indulge your sweet tooth with treats from Clark Bakery. With convenient payment methods including card or flex, it's the perfect dining spot for any occasion. Quench your thirst with our wide selection of drinks. Just hand your drinking card to our friendly waiter, and they'll bring your beverage of choice right to your table. When you're done savoring every last bite, our attentive staff will whisk away your tray. Enjoy the peaceful ambiance as you dine in, or use our takeout option for a meal on the go. Avesta.
Has this ever happened to you?
My bike! My bike is gone!
Stolen bikes are an epidemic sweeping college campuses across America.
What am I supposed to do?
It's quite simple. The We Mean Green Fund has partnered with the UNT Police Department to offer free bike locks to any UNT student with a bike. Just show up with your bike in tow and ask.
Now I'll never lose my bike ever again.
Enough worrying. Get your bike log today.
Welcome back to SportsZone. I am joined by Jacob Garcia and Eli Thomas as we do some hard-hitting journalism on UFC 320. What a card. I mean, Alex Pereira, what a fight. Talk about that.
Alex Pereira back on top of light heavyweight, where he belongs. I am so ecstatic about that. Ankalaev, from the first fight, Pereira was kind of standoffish, coming at him. He was backing up a lot. He seemed like he was hesitant and didn't look like the Alex Pereira that we had seen on that impressive run. And from the second this fight started, he was just pressing Ankalaev. He just pushed him back. Ankalaev fights usually southpaw. He was switching into orthodox. As soon as he switched, I was like, he's
was
so
doing whatever he
uncomfortable.
could,
exactly.
yeah.
And then from there, he landed the big right hand, took him down, or Ankalaev with a weak takedown rather, and then just started landing ground and pound. Herb Dean called it.
That pressure from Pereira was crazy. I mean, that fight was insane. But like you said, back at the top of light heavyweight, and that gives him a lot of options. We have to talk about who is he fighting next. Eli, who do you think his next opponent's going to be?
I don't know who his next opponent is going to be. He's 38 years old, so he's getting a little bit older in age. And prime fighters is pretty much between 30 and 35, and they're, in their prime. So he's getting up there in age. And he, like you said, he did prove he's a legend, knocking out him in a short amount of time in round one. But a guy who's 38 years old also, and he's competed in light heavyweight and heavyweight as well. I would go John Jones. John Jones is in the decision of coming back to fighting or not, and he's a proven fighter. They say he's the greatest MMA fighter of all time. So I think if Pereira wants to be the best, he has to beat the best.
And Pereira definitely wants that fight. John Jones wants that fight. This is a fight that both want, and they want it for the White House, for that big UFC card. I mean, Jacob, do you think that fight's going to get made for the White House card?
I don't, because just solely for the fact that Dana White has said he cannot trust John Jones on these big cards. A card as big as that, this is going to be the biggest card in UFC history. And John Jones, with the whole Tom Aspinall thing, you know how that is in booking those fights.
Well, can I ask you a question though? Why can't he trust him?
I mean, have you seen every single fight and build-up he's been? John Jones, drugs, domestic violence, really any crime you can commit as a UFC fighter, that guy's committed.
They had a top fight coming up. It was going to be John Jones and Tom Aspinall to unify the belts, and John Jones just kept running. There was always issues with it. So,
yeah,
arguably running.
John Jones is my GOAT, but I have to say he was ducking hard for Aspinall. And Aspinall is another option. Pereira, Dana wants him to stay at light heavyweight, but at light heavyweight the options are really Carlos Ulberg. I mean, not really great options. Even though Carlos Ulberg is a good fighter, just not on Pereira's level.
Agreed.
If he does go to heavyweight though, and he doesn't fight John Jones, it could be Aspinall. Do you see that fight happening?
Aspinall. That one's a little more likely, but I don't see that one ending well for Pereira. Aspinall's just a different beast, you know what I mean? He's so fast for his size. He's just a giant human being, and so that would be an insane fight in terms of star power. I don't think Pereira gets it done against Aspinall if he moves up to heavyweight, so that would
do you think that Pereira could get it done against Aspinall?
I don't know. Like he said, he's a bigger guy. He's a heavier guy, so Pereira, I don't know about that one. But John Jones, I think he would give him a good fight, like you guys said, if he was to give him that chance.
Yeah, I mean, so you've said a little bit more likely for this Aspinall fight, not likely for the John Jones fight. Who do you see as his next opponent? Who do you see Pereira facing next?
I feel it's going to stay at light heavyweight. And you mentioned him earlier, Carlos Ulberg. There's not many top guys. With Hiri and his reaction after Pereira finished the fight, Hiri's gotten knocked out by him twice. He is on a 2-fight streak, but when you lose to a guy like that twice, I have a hard time seeing that getting a rematch. Same thing for Sean O'Malley and Merab. We'll get to that later. But I think Carlos Ulberg's the option right now.
That's fair. I mean, I always want to see Hiri fight more, especially with that passion, crying outside the octagon. That's what you want to see from a fighter, really. But I do think Carlos Ulberg is the fighter.
And Pereira had a little showboat on him, too. So
that's the kind of guy Pereira is. I mean, but he is dominant. Let's talk about another dominant fighter that got a W, Merab. I mean, he might be the pound-for-pound #1. What do you guys think?
I think he's pound for pound number 2. Number 1 still for me is Ilia Topuria. I think that this weekend, if he wasn't already, he cemented himself as the greatest bantamweight of all time that we have seen. His motor is just insane. He never gets tired. And it's just relentless pressure. We've seen it in so many of his fights.
He's like a literal robot. I genuinely don't know if
like
he
a
would
robot.
ever tire out. Give him boxing rounds, and I think he's still fine. I mean, that Merab performance, Eli, it was crazy.
It was a great performance, but like he said, he's pound for pound number 2. The stats speak for himself. I mean, he's 17-0 with 7 KOs, and he's had less fights than him, but he's had more KOs. So the stats pretty much speak for himself. And if you look around the age, like I said earlier, your prime is from 30 to 35, and Ilya is right there at 28 years old. So he's not even in his prime yet. He has less fights and more KOs. So I would say that he's pound for pound number 1.
What a resume he's built for
Dude,
himself
I was about to bring up the resume. You know, they have similar talent levels, I'd say, but you look at the names that Topuria has beat, and you see Volkanovski, you see Holloway, you see Oliveira recently. I mean, the names that he has beaten, I think, put him at that pound for pound number 1 spot. But Merab, do you think he's ever going to get to that spot? What do you think his next fight is? Do you think, if he wins that, he gets there?
His next fight is kind of a strange topic. Just like I said, he's cleared the division already. Sean O'Malley arguably is one of the top contenders. Beat him twice, dominantly. You know what I mean? And so it's hard to gauge what his next fight could be. I've seen people say Pantoja, but I think Merab crushes him too, just because it's strictly because of the size. You know what I mean? And so, in terms of next fight, maybe Peter Yan, but even the first time they fought, it was like 49 takedowns he shot, broke the record. He landed 11 only, but that just goes up to show how high of a motor he has. He just never stops. They call him the machine for a reason.
For real. And Merab said, I'm pretty sure he said he was at 50% for that fight. I mean,
it's scary.
That is
scary.
Very scary, where I don't even really want to see that fight for what he would do to him in that ring. I mean, it would be tough. But the card overall was a really good card. You know, we saw some knockouts. We saw some good performances like we saw from Hiri. But the knockout I want to talk about, Atiba Gauthier against Tristan Vines. I mean, watching that knockout, I really couldn't even tell what happened at first. It looked like he just kind of fell down. What did you guys get from that knockout?
It was very strange. He kind of, I guess, I don't know if it was an elbow he threw, something along the cage, and then he just went limp. And then from there, it was just teeing off from the cage. It was very strange. It was one of, I think, the strangest I've seen because of it just came out of nowhere. I was really shocked watching it, But he's just a dog. He's a dog.
I mean, he has been dominant in the UFC. He's 3-0 since coming from the Contender Series. I mean, do you think he's set for greater heights in the UFC?
I think he's up for greater heights. I mean, 3-0. Multiple fighters, when they start out with a 3-0 record. I mean, UFC and boxing is kind of similar, so I think he's on that trajectory. And like you said, with that KO, it's kind of weird, but he still got it done.
Yeah, and he has been getting it done all round 1 KOs in his 3 wins. But let's talk about who else impressed us from the card. Jacob, who impressed you from UFC 320?
The most impressive fighter on the card for me was Youssef Zalal with his submission victory over Josh Emmett. It was just there wasn't even a strike landed. He's like a snake, just slithered him up from the second that the fight started and got the armbar, and Josh Emmett obviously submitted. And being in a spot like that, Josh Emmett's one of the most powerful guys, I think, on the roster, pound for pound, being at featherweight at 145. And that armbar was just locked in super slick. I was very impressed first round. Very impressive stuff.
Yeah, Josh Emmett hasn't been the hottest recently, no win since 2023. But I mean, you beat a veteran like that with that kind of punching power, no matter how they've been recently, it is an impressive win. And in the way he did it, he was so fast in that octagon. I mean, before the fight, I thought he was going to be a little bit more cautious against Emmett with that power, but he really took the fight to him and tapped him out in the first round. I mean, who impressed you at the show, Eli?
I'm going to go with the guy that we mentioned earlier, Pereira. Pereira, I mean, 38 years old, being that dominant in a fight in round 1 and putting your opponent out that fast in that fashion, I think that it meant something to him, and he stamped and he proved he's a legend. So I would go with Pereira with the most exciting and the most interesting to me.
That's definitely fair. I mean, Pereira is a really exciting fighter, and let's talk about that. Let's talk about Pereira, because we mentioned Merab and Ilya in that pound-for-pound category, and Pereira, he's had the losses. He's a little bit older, like you mentioned, because he had the kickboxing career. I mean, with how he's fighting right now, do you think he could get to the top, near the top of those pound-for-pound rankings?
I don't think he'll get to the top anymore just because of his age, really. But getting his belt back against Ankalaev, who is a pretty dominant guy, I believe that he right now is probably about 8 or 9, somewhere around there. And I don't see him getting to the top anymore with all the talent that's come in. Like you mentioned, Ilya, Merab, all those guys, just absolute dogs. And young, very young, so they have a lot in front of them. I don't think he'll get there anymore. I think he has 1 or 2 fights left, but very impressive stuff. Maybe he would have come here a little earlier. You never know, but
Too
right
busy
now,
kickboxing, you know.
Yeah,
but
kickboxing.
Yeah, that foot injury is going to hold him out for a little bit too, that he suffered in the fight. So we might not see him fight again until next year, maybe even that White House card. I mean, do you think that he's going to fight on the White House card?
I don't know, but I want to ask y'all a question though. Should he retire? Like you said, mentioned the foot injury. There's a lot of guys that are a lot younger than him that are entering their prime, like Elias. So should he retire?
I mean, when you have a fight like Alex Pereira just had, and you've been fighting like him, I feel like any talks of retirement are a little bit too early for me. But, you know, we'll have to see in his next fight. Maybe coming back from an injury, he's a little bit slower next time. You know, we'll have to see.
Very excited to see where it goes from here.
Very excited. But that's all the time we have. Next block, we will be talking about an MMA movie with the Smashing Machine. Join me after these commercials.
Hey Alex, this guy on the internet says he wants to give me money.
That sounds suspicious.
What do you mean?
Typically, strangers who promise you money on the internet have their own best interest in mind. They often use bounced checks, which will disappear shortly after depositing, but not before they've asked for some money in return.
So he doesn't really want to spoil me?
No.
Well, then what should I do?
The best way to handle it is to block and report the suspicious message, or even consult local law enforcement if you've already fallen victim.
So I guess we aren't going to Key West for spring break.
No.
Are you tired of seeing the same old city? You want to learn something and go overseas? Then study abroad with one of many UNT Study Abroad programs. You can find a Study Abroad office right here at Markey Hall, room 145.
My study abroad program left on me a great impression. We have a lot of different programs and it varies. We have faculty-led, affiliate, and exchange programs. When you're ready to leave for your study abroad program from UNT, you're gonna go through pre-departure orientation and modules so that you are prepared.
The power to turn the world into your classroom is right here at UNT with our study abroad programs. Take flight and take in charge of your education.
Looking to open a free checking or savings account but don't know where to start? Check out DATCU Credit Union right here on campus. Get your Mean Green debit card instantly or apply for a DATCU Visa credit card today. Your school, your card. Plus, make deposits at their 24/7 ATM, checks or cash whenever you need it. Make sure to sign up for DATCU's online banking platform and mobile app for easy access anytime, anywhere. Visit them at www.datcu.org to learn more. DATCU, the official financial institution of UNT Athletics.
Welcome back to SportsZone. I'm your host, John Phillips, and this past weekend I saw The Smashing Machine, a movie starring The Rock about an MMA fighter, and it had me thinking, who are the best athletes turned into actors? And I wanted to ask Jack Strupsha and Ian Cropper, I got the best. Jack, who is your best athlete turned actor?
I mean, yeah, when you sit and think about it, there actually is a lot of athletes who have like completely switched to acting or some things like cameos, and it's really cool to see. I mean, there's a lot more when you actually think about it. Some of my favorites, just thinking over the course of time, I mean, you see Arnold Schwarzenegger, who went from Mr. Olympian way back when he did that to the Terminator, which is one of the most iconic.
He's known more for that nowadays.
Yeah.
I mean, he is an actor at this point.
People forget that he was an athlete because of that. But also probably my personal favorite, just kind of more recent, because that was a while back when he was more of a hit. But I got to say John Cena. I mean, a big-time WWE superstar for years. And now, you know, he's in this hit show, Peacemaker, where you see a lot of emotional, you know, a little funny, a little bit of everything.
He showed that range that you don't really see from athletes sometimes. You know, he's shown the sad and the happy.
Mm-hmm. And also an honorable mention, because my favorite thing I've seen him in, because the movie's hilarious. It came out, I think, just exclusively like Prime Video a year or two ago. Ricky Stenicki. That's a big time laugh. I could appreciate a good comedy movie in this generation. So if you guys haven't seen or anybody watching hasn't seen that, definitely recommend.
I have to say I had lower expectations for Ricky Stenicki because John Cena, I didn't have that much faith in him as an actor, and also just the genre of movies a little bit played out, I thought. But it was a genuinely funny performance from John Cena and a genuinely funny movie. I really was laughing at Ricky Stenicki. I mean, he is a good actor. He, like you said, has shown that depth and also is just a comedic guy.
Yeah, I do quite like John Cena. I would like to see a little more from him. I think he's still in like the early point of his career, and I think Peacemaker is going to be a great launching point to get him into some bigger projects. As for the actors I like, of course, I gotta mention Arnold, probably the most iconic, but if we're talking about the hottest athletes turned actors working today, how about Dave Bautista? He's not the craziest performer, but he is extremely versatile and dynamic, and you've seen that he can be multiple types of actor. Like, he can be a funny comic relief in Guardians of the Galaxy, a more serious and threatening role in Dune, something more in the middle in Glass Onion, which honestly I think is one of the best films of that year. And he also has a short but memorable role in Blade Runner 2049, and a strong role in the horror film Knock at the Cabin.
I was waiting for you to mention Knock at the Cabin. What an underrated movie, and Bautista in that movie, despite being this huge, bulking presence, feels kind of like tender at the same time. It's a really, really good movie.
Yeah, and that movie didn't do that well, ultimately like I think it should have, but that really showed kind of everybody, okay, he isn't just a big action star, you know, he could actually act. So
because that's super important for those WWE stars. You know, you both have done it, John Cena, Dave Bautista. It's important for them to show that they're more than the muscly guys who can say that they're tough. You know, they both need to show that they can tap into that emotional edge, and they've shown that. I mean,
yeah, Bautista definitely has the passion and raw talent that makes him a great actor. He's the kind of actor you can put in prestige movies like Dune, Glass Onion, Blade Runner, and not have to worry about his performance. In fact, he can hold his own against these seasoned Oscar-caliber actors.
Okay, speaking of holding their own against Oscar-caliber actors and also WWE wrestlers, I mentioned him earlier, The Rock in the Smashing Machine. It just came out, and he's starring alongside Emily Blunt, and man, what a performance from those two. Emily Blunt especially, but The Rock is really, really good in it. It's a side of The Rock you haven't seen, because with The Rock, you expect the Fast and the Furious, the Hobbs and the Shaws. You don't really expect him to actually care about it, but we've seen him care more about the artistry of this movie, and I think it really showed in the movie with his transformation he made to become Mark Kerr.
Yeah, and I do want to elaborate that, because while Dwayne Johnson is one of the biggest movie stars in history, not just in terms of actors turned athletes, before this, he hasn't really been the most versatile talent, and while he plays his character type well, he kind of just plays that type. And I think that's resulted in him not having as many like memorable movies that are going to be remembered decades from now. Like, you look at Arnold, he has Terminator, he has Predator, he has Total Recall. But what does Dwayne Johnson have? Nobody's going to remember
The Tooth Fairy.
The Tooth Fairy, yes, but nobody's going to remember San Andreas or Skyscraper or Black Adam from now. And while people probably will remember something like Fast and Furious, I don't think that's going to be like that cultural centerpiece that something like Terminator is. But with that said, I do think The Rock is starting to realize this, as we see in The Smashing Machine. That's more of a transition to that kind of prestige role.
And he's already lined up another movie with Benny Safdie after this, and a Scorsese movie. Yeah. So I'm really interested to see how The Rock operates in a Scorsese universe. That's interesting to me. But looking at my athletes, you know, some honorable mentions. When I was looking this up, you know who I found out was an athlete back in the day? Jason Statham was a professional diver. He was he was on the team Great Britain dive team. You know, I didn't pick him because none of us even knew he was an athlete, really, but a great, great actor. My actor is a great actor in his own right. Denzel Washington's son, John David Washington.
Yes.
John David Washington signed for the practice squad with the Rams back in 2006 and played some professional football, but his acting is really where he stands out. I mean, his best role, in my opinion, and the one that got him his acclaim, was Black Klansman with Ron Stallworth, a Spike Lee movie. And man, in that movie, just what a performance. He embodies that character in such a important story, and he's such a great actor.
The scene where he's calling David Duke is still one of the funniest scenes I've ever seen.
There's so much hilarity in that movie, but also some, like, they touch on deep topics in that movie. So as a Spike Lee movie does, and it's not just that movie, you know, that is his biggest role, but he was in Tenet, a Christopher Nolan movie. He was in The Creator, an underrated movie directed by the guy who did Rogue One, another underrated movie. But The Creator, it was a movie where there's this weird, like, AI being that's taking over the world, and John David Washington has a romance in that movie. Touched my heart in that movie. He is a great actor. Any other guys you want to shout out? Let's talk about some more guys, you know?
Well, I'm not sure if this really counts, but I did grow up on SNL, so I gotta mention the Manning brothers. Maybe not like the biggest actors ever, but when they were on SNL, they were delightful, and I do think that they do have comedic potential, even if this year's NFL ads might try and convince you otherwise.
Yeah, and that's actually, I think I've enjoyed them more as people since they've retired from the NFL, just seeing them in these commercials that they do. And I know they're big with this, they're big involved with this new Hulu show, the Chad Powers I've been watching that. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, speaking of an athlete show, you know, the Chad Powers show.
Yeah, so the Manning brothers are definitely a good time. I like that take you had there.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we talked about Batista and how great of an actor he is with his depth, but we didn't talk about his biggest role. You know, you mentioned it a little bit, Guardians of the Galaxy. He played Drax, and he's one of the best, I'd say, actors in the MCU with his role. I mean, Drax is maybe the funniest character in the MCU.
I think that it's a real contender. And the thing is, if you watch the first Guardians movie, he's a lot more like reserved. He's the stoic foil to the more funny side characters. But in the second and third movies, he really comes into his own. And I think that shows how over time he's developed as an actor. That's why I was saying that Peacemaker could be a launch point for Cena the same way that Drax was for Bautista. Because those roles, like, they give you popularity and they also give you an area to experiment and grow your talent.
Yeah, very similar roles in that they're in a big franchise, so you have a lot of things to look at, but it gives you a big platform to jump off of. And it's funny you say that because Drax was actually offered Peacemaker before John Cena, Batista was. It was written for Batista, and then John Cena ended up getting it. So clearly James Gunn agrees that these WWE actors have, you know, acting chops.
It's almost like James Gunn had a working relationship with Dave Bautista.
No.
Yeah, that's crazy talk.
Yeah, I hope though John Cena this is kind of his thing. I kind of got that feeling, you know, with his little cameo in Superman, and obviously this show is doing pretty good right now, viewership-wise. But yeah, I think he's really proven that he is a pretty solid actor and more than just kind of the Rock narrative. And going back to what you said, I know you mentioned a few minutes ago, but I hope to see that these upcoming weekends, the Smashing Machine performs a little better. Not doing that great in the box office right now,
has been really rough, which I get. You know, it's a movie based off a sports documentary. It can't be that impressive, but I think the story was really good despite it being off of a topic that didn't have much behind it. You know, I think Benny Safdie as a director is goated, and I think
I didn't even know about any Mark Kerr until this movie came out. But I like looking at the trailer, I had to like double take. Oh, that's The Rock.
The transformation. Yeah, we talked about it a little bit, but he really changed his body completely, and then after the movie, changed it again with being completely slimmed down. I mean. That shows his commitment to the role.
Yeah, but maybe it's not getting the biggest box office, but I do think it's the kind of movie that's designed to appeal to awards voters for the Golden Globes and Academy, and those movies do generally get more buzz as award season approaches.
That's definitely fair. I think, like I said earlier, I think this is a movie with great performances, and when we get to Oscar season, I think The Rock nomination for Best Actor, Emily Blunt for Best Supporting Actress, I think are both in the cards. You know, I don't think The Rock is going to win because he's just not there yet as an actor. You know, with him and John Cena, we need to see more from them, but I hope we do at this point. You know, The Rock has really got me behind him as an actor. I really have faith in him. And like you said earlier, I hope John Cena is in more of the DCU. We saw him in Superman a little bit, but I hope that as the universe expands, I hope that he gets a pretty big role in the DCU.
Absolutely.
I mean, so earlier I mentioned Jason Statham as an athlete that we didn't know, but let's talk a little bit about him because I feel like if people did know he was an athlete, that would be some people's pick, you know? So, I mean, maybe the action GOAT. I mean, that is an action movie star.
I mean, that's a great find that you had there. I had no idea that he was a former athlete. But something, just thinking here, because we talked about the Manning brothers, I just thought of like a cameo of Tom Brady and Ted 2. That movie's hilarious. So that's just something I thought I had to mention when I saw I was going to get on this segment.
That's also fair. Any last shout outs from you, Ian?
We did mention former Rams, and Terry Crews was actually one. He was great on Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and I do wish the best for him.
Another former NFL player I want to mention that I didn't know was an actor, Nnamdi Asomugha, is a director, producer, and actor, and has gotten a Tony and an Emmy nomination since retiring from the NFL. Did not know that. Shocking stuff.
Good for him.
A lot of athletes have become actors. That's all the time we have for this show. I'm your host, John Phillips. Say hi to Steven for me. I'll see you in 2 weeks.